Every Thursday night, 9 p.m., Iconic Cafe hits the digital radio airwaves with the best in home interviews and cooking. Be sure to check out Iconic Cafe Mishawaka Facebook page for upcoming and archive shows. Now that's iconic.
Hey, welcome, Iconic Radio. Glad to have you folks on tonight. A special guest tonight again is Jimi Lovitt. And great to have you. Always want to thank Bill McDonald for making Iconic Radio possible. And a couple thank yous I want to go out. First, Adam Nelson. Always appreciate Adam has got the archives all set up on the website of Iconic Radio Cafe. And also check out his menus. Daisy and Dad Designs does a fantastic job. And, of course, last week we had Jason Curtis of the 5-Star Dive Bar and Bacon Strip. Fantastic show with him. That is archived, too. So let us behold now with Jimi Lovitt. Jimmy, how you doing this evening?
Oh, excellent. Excellent as always, Bruce. Always good to be down here.
Oh, it sounds good. You know, our last show, we really did the musician swap meet focused on. How did that go?
Oh, excellent. Had a really nice turnout. A lot of gear, traded hands, some really cool stuff, and nice turnout as always.
I thought it was great, too, and I got to meet a gentleman named Jeff Jones who does token guitar amps. They're after the train wrecks of the old days and stuff, and we're going to have him on the show. It'll be Thanksgiving evening. That'll be the 27th, so looking forward to that. So, again, we're going to talk about memories of McNease, but there's some important information Jimmy's got, too. It's about the Musicians Co-op building. What do you got going there, Jimmy?
All right. We're going to take possession of the building December 1st, and we're going to have to hit it and get it ready because we're going to have a grand opening December 6th, and we'll have it the whole weekend, 7th. Joe's going to be, Feingold is going to be playing out of town Saturday night, but he's going to make an appearance, and I'll probably get him to have a little jam there Sunday and do some other cool stuff with other members of the co-op, and have a lot of really cool stuff. And always looking for new members. If you know you got some gear to sell, or you ever like to really get into the music business, I've been at it for 40 years, and I'm willing to share, the information I have. And we really need somebody really into drums. We really don't have that covered yet, and band and orchestra instruments, big time. If anybody's out there and wants to do a little part-time thing, maybe turn it into full-time, get a hold of me.
Well, since Woodwinds has left, where would you go to get band instruments?
There's a place, they got a really fancy name, and they're the ones that bought Blessings out there, big outfit out of Chicago. I believe they're over there on Edison, but they mainly deal in new. And there's really not a whole lot besides Worldwide, has a few used band instruments. They always can get a good deal there. But it's really hard. And, we're in the band, Elkhart, the band instrument capital of the world, and really being underserved.
Did you get involved with band instruments at Mac, back in the days?
Oh, we had a few. At the time there, Blessings was really going strong, and I think there was another one too that was pretty big into band instruments at the time. On your Facebook site, Memories of McNease, everyone should go to that. It's a great site. One thing you had up there was Virgil Ward Jr. Can you explain a little more about him here? Oh, yeah, he's a really cool dude. Met him back, I think, about 75 when I started there. He at the time, he was a bass player. He played with our repair tech there. Elmer Hobart was just a fantastic repairman. I tell you, that was one of the keys to Mac's success also, having a repairman like Elmer. I tell you, he could fix anything, tubes, solid state, just fantastic. But anyway, Junior was originally his bass player, and he'd always stop. He drove a truck for Tucker, and he'd park right out front there in that 4-lane there, and he'd put his flashers on and come and shoot the breeze for a little bit, and then eventually he became a steel player. And
pedal steel?
Oh, yeah, pedal steel, and he's turned out to be excellent. We had, back when I had the barn up there, we had him, Charlie Smith, and Leonard Kenley, three of the area's top steel players.
Oh,
in fact, Leonard played stand-up bass back in the days of Buddy Emmons.
Wow. Did you ever get to meet Buddy Emmons?
Oh yeah. I met Buddy down in Nashville. He was a friend of my dad's, and they reminisced a little bit. We went to a NAMM show down there a few years down in Nashville, and got to shoot the breeze with him. Really nice man. Probably noted as probably the world's greatest steel guitar player from right Mishawaka, Indiana.
Have you tried pedal steel? Have you?
Oh, I the pedal part I couldn't get down, but I tried to slide a little bit. Made a little bit of noise on it, but that's an acquired skill, that's for sure.
Also on Facebook, if you go to it, you have the Wall of Paul, which was a great photo. Can you explain a little more about that?
Oh, that's something I set up back then. Guitar Center had this big thing of a wall of Les Pauls. We didn't have a completely Les Pauls, but I had some really cool Gibsons, so we had my little version of Wall of Paul back then, and fortunately I took a picture of that, and that was the thing back then. You didn't think a whole lot to take pictures. Or gosh, I should have brought a camera with me every day because something cool was happening.
We were talking before the show started. Mac was always wanting the guitars clean, tuned, and then also hung at a certain angle.
Oh, yeah.
What was that all about?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, back in my day when I was there, a good friend of mine passed away a few years ago, Dave Johnson, an excellent bass player. His job mainly was to go from store to store. I don't know if he did the Elkhart store, but he did mainly South Bend, Mishawaka. He might have done Elkhart, but Elkhart was a little smaller store. They might have done their own. But he would go around, tune each guitar, polish it up, hang them back up. That way, you picked up a guitar at McNease, it was in tune, and it was clean.
And I always remember Mac, too, with me. He always wanted to know if I had enough money. So, I don't know if he was just picking on me or was that something...
Well, it's always good to pre-qualify your customers.
But I had to show them the money. It wasn't just, I got the money. I had to pull it out.
Yeah, if you wanted to play a nice guitar. And also, if you didn't, the guys that go in there and want to jam for half an hour, you wouldn't have any of that. Give them about 15 minutes, and I'd go turn the amp off, and hey, can I get you into that today? Or,
now, did he coach you on that? Did I get you into that? Or?
Oh yeah, yes, that we were trained to do that. You got about 15 minutes. Unless you were a proven customer that we knew was going to drop some dollars that day. You got about 15 minutes, and they usually that's long enough to try an amp out.
What's the most you sold? Do you ever give a guy a package, an amp, guitar, bass?
Oh, gosh, we used to do that all the time. Remember, I think the biggest deal I ever put together was a guy that I bought a complete outfit for his grandson. In fact, I think I told this story before about the really nice old black gentleman come in and paid about half down. That's several $1,000s. That was a lot of money back then. And Mac, he talked to Mac, and he said, well, I give you half today, and I bring back the other half when I get my check next month. And we loaded the stuff up, and sure enough, Mac was a great judge of character. And sure enough, 1 month later, he was out there waiting at the door with the rest of the money.
You talked too, there was always cases. We got about a minute left. We'll take a break with some songs, but we'll come back with some basement of all the guitar cases, which I think is a great story.
Oh, yeah. So when I first started, I think he sent me down to look for some kind of case, and my God, there were just 1,000 cases down there, How, because I think the South Bend store had only opened in the early 60s, and how did they accumulate that many cases? He must have got a deal somewhere or something, but they're just... I bet there were at least 1,000 cases in that basement.
And they were like Fender and Gibson cases?
Oh, there was just anything imaginable. Gretsch, there were nice cases, used cases. Of course, we were talking the day before the gig bags, and we had these soft shell cases, but, man, there were some decent cases down there. There were probably $20,000 worth of cases just in the basement.
I'd say too, the basement was as big as the building too, right?
Oh yeah, the basement was a lot bigger than the store itself, because it ran the entire length, and it was huge. And let's just say it was a little dark and scary down there, and there were a few mice and stuff down there. No giant rats or anything like that, but it was kind of spooky old building.
All right, we'll get back. We got a little Leonard Skinner for you for Adam Nelson, Iconic Radio, coming back at you. All right, we're back on the radio with Jimmy Lovitt. Always Bill wants me to tell what we got going on. Of course, the Phoenix Open Jam Thursday night. Friday, we got Groupies Wanted. And Saturday, Hippo Sonics. Of course, the 5-Star Dive Bar. Tonight is Open Jam. Friday is SWC, and I apologize, I don't know what that is, but I will ask Bill and find out what that means. And then Paul Erdman and Steve Morris, I think, or Montz, I'm sorry. Over at Rocks, it'll be Mike Boo. So, and of course, we got Iconic Radio. There's no Radio Classic tonight, and there'll be no Beatles brunch coming up, and no Funk and Groove. So there'll be a lot of music to listen to on XERS. So, Jimmy, we're back. As again, we were listening to some Leonard Skinner. We always get in some great conversation. And I was talking about the expensive guitars. What was the most expensive?
Oh, most of the really high-end stuff at the time I was there, he was hoarding those. But he was putting those back. Of course, we always had, your Les Pauls, and you come across, some of the nicer ones at the time, but he had the foresight. If he thought it was something that was going to be worth some money, he socked it away.
But most people didn't, do you think? I mean...
No, I don't think a whole lot of people had the foresight, or, especially back when he first started, and the 58s he had, they probably were only a couple $100, brand new, and he had to just say, well, I'm going to hang on to a couple of these, open them up and close the case, and not open them for another 30 years.
Boy, isn't that crazy? And what are those worth? About $70,000 now.
Gosh, I know he had at least 2 gold tops.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh, and some bursts. And I said, so he was still buying them up when I was there. I told you the story about getting the Explorer from Grunes, and oh my gosh, he had a collection. I could get together with his grandson one of these days to find out exactly where some of that stuff ended up. And oh my gosh. I heard a lot of collectors, he sold them on eBay. A lot of the Japanese collectors bought them up. But, hey, there were some beauties in there, the ones I've seen.
Would he collect anything else, besides guitars? Did he have cars?
Not to my knowledge. He might have. But being in the business, he specialized in Gibson, but he also had some nice Fenders and... I think, the White Falcon, of course, we put that out for sale at Gretsch, and, a few others.
And, of course, basses, too, would probably be the same. There were some great ones back then.
Oh, sure. The Fenders, of course, were the collectibles, but, we had an EBO. We had a very rare... violin, the Gibson violin bass that you don't ever see one of those. And I don't even know what it's worth because I've never seen one for sale.
Wow. And he had one of those too. So.
Oh, yeah, at least one that I know of.
Wow. We were talking, too, about, I asked you if he ever got robbed, and you said no, but there's one little piece of information you got that was under the counter.
Oh, yeah, he had a little pea shooter under there.
Now, what's a pea shooter? Help me out here. Like a 22, a 45? I mean...
I'm not a gun guy. I'm the ultimate pacifist. So. But and I was scared. I was scared to death of this. And Joe Jarman said, "Hey, I want to show you this." After I'd been there a while, underneath, I think it was a mic case or something like that, had this little tiny pea shooter, and and Joe said, "Man, I'd be afraid to shoot that thing. Probably haven't been shot in 30 years."
But like you said, to your knowledge, nothing ever really happened.
No, nothing. Not, at least in the South Bend store. I know they got broke in. The windows got broke out after I left there, and this is when he put the bars up. And because he's put some nice, not real high-end guitars, but eye catchers. So people driving by and. See him, and also usually put some of the drums because that's the thing we talked about earlier. He didn't have a lot of space. A lot of times we just stack a set of drums in the window.
Yeah, and did he design how the store would be, or would he tell you guys move guitars over here? Like stores now, they change every so many months. They change stuff. And
he had a basic floor plan when I was there, and it's the new guitar or amps to be in front, and the new guitars to be in a certain area, and the used, and just be stacked where we put a lot of gear in a small space, but yet everything was accessible and everything you could plug in right away. It was very, very good at presentation and marketing of the products.
How loud would he let the amps get?
Well, you could probably crank it for a few minutes there if you were a serious buyer, but you got a little carried away. That was our job to go over there and turn it down and explain, well, maybe if you were interested in buying today, or give them a few minutes to play. And like I said, I think the only guys that really got too carried away was the Mahogany Rush that time. They come in and just started jamming away, and finally had to put a stop to that.
So what did you have to do? Unplug the amps?
No, that's not. I just went over there and turned it down. And, say, hey man, are you looking to buy today? Or
wow. Was that ever, uncomfortable to do, or was it just part of the business?
Yeah, sometimes, especially when I was a young guy like myself trying one out, and he was probably playing on a little Tiesco amp at home, and this was his chance to play on a nice Fender. And I had a guy like that in my store the other day. I knew the kid didn't have any money, and I probably let him go a little too long on the Marshall amp, and he playing a real nice Ibanez, and I knew he probably didn't even own a guitar, but he was actually a pretty good player. And let him go for about a half hour, and went in there before I went in and had a little talk with him. That's nice. I say, it's you're looking to get one today, or but sometimes I've got a little soft spot for guys like that, that want to get in there and play some nice gear.
Well, and that's what's so neat about you in your store too. I mean, you're really passionate about music and stuff, and when you go in there, I mean, you can just feel it, and you give people opportunities, which I think's great.
Oh yeah, I tell you, it's it's so cool to see somebody like this. Yesterday, I sold a kid his first guitar, and he's looking to sign up get lessons from Mr. Feingold, and that's what makes it all worthwhile, selling a kid his first guitar. It was just a nice little starter Yamaha. I picked out the best playing one I could find in there for him, and set him up with a nice little package deal, and got him set up getting some lessons.
We're talking too. There was some lessons at the South Bend store, but Elkhart was really the store that had most of the lessons, wasn't it? In McNease.
Yeah, they were really set up there. I know Mrs. McNease, Margaret, taught piano there, and I know down had that long hallway there, and they were really, really intense into lessons. And also in the Mishawaka store actually had more than the South Bend. It seemed like the South Bend store was more of where you went to buy, your high-end stuff, and we really didn't have I can't believe it was like a closet. We, set Billy Nicks up in a little closet to teach drums. I said, gee whiz, how the heck is, yeah, but he did. He managed to get in there with a drum kit and a student.
I know, we got to have him on the show, too. And what was the guitar back there? There was always a guitar hanging on the wall, red.
Oh, it was an SG. I'm not sure what year. Matter of fact, I think Mac's grandson still has that. He posted a picture on the Elkhart Musicians Club there, and I think that was it. And it was an old beat-up SG that, Elmer Hobart would go back there to try out an amp to repair. That was the guitar he used. Just a simple SG, but hey, it was nobody realized at the time that guitar is probably worth a couple grand or so now.
Yeah, easy. And when the amp repaired, did he have a bunch of tubes and a bunch of stuff back there? I mean,
no, he actually he would just do the minor things there and see what sometimes he had a little bench back there, and if it's something minor, he'd do it right there. But he had a home shop there. Obviously, there could have been room there, but he obviously more comfortable working at home. But I guess when Elmer passed a few years ago, I guess he had just a accumulation of tubes beyond belief.
Oh, wow. Boy, those would be some to have, too. So, hey, we got some AC/DC coming up, a little tribute for, was it today's news, I think, on that? So, got a couple songs, and we'll be right back with Jimi Lovitt, Iconic Radio. All right, that's a little tribute to AC/DC. Again, we're back on Iconic Radio, and we got Jimi Lovitt. Again, we have some great conversation why the music's going. And the one thing he just brought up, which always was a peeve to me, was the Whitmer McNease silver stickers on the back of the guitars.
Oh, yeah, we always had to put those on, new and used guitars. I had to make sure you didn't cover up the serial number or anything. But, that back then, that was the way to advertise. You had to, at the time, we listed all 3 stores and the phone number, and, that was just, you didn't have social media, and it was too expensive to be on TV, and then that was the way to advertise.
And how about guitar picks? Didn't Mac have his own guitar picks?
Oh, yeah. We had the picks that said Whitmer McNease and the phone number.
Boy, do you got any of those left?
Oh, sure do. I got a couple of my a little tribute I got up in my store there to Mac there. I've got a couple of the white ones. I think it's just with the South Bend number, which of course is 288-5012. I couldn't tell you my phone number when but I can remember that one.
But you say you only got 2 left. I mean, of all the thousands he had, I mean.
Yeah, those weren't mine. Mine were long gone. These are just some that came in, and in gig bags or cases I found, and I found a couple of those and hung on to them.
We were talking too before the show about strings, and you brought up a great thing of Nashville straight strings.
Oh yeah, I think it's about 76. It came out with this idea that the strings should be hermetically sealed and straight, not curled, and they were better strings. And before we got them, Drumville Guitarland had them, and they had them for like $6.95. So Max says, well, what do we got to do? So he got a bunch of banners made, bought a bunch of them. Nashville Straights, $3.95.
So what did Drumville Guitarland say when they got cut?
It's they I think they hung at their price, because I don't think they probably bought the bulk that Mac did at the time. But they had 3 stores, so I don't know. But that was just a marketing ploy. This is our everyday price, $3.95. That was back in the day. It's like Ernie Ball Slinkies were $5. And they're $3.99 today. You got full list price for strings. There were no discounting accessories back then.
Boy, and strings were a big seller for you guys too. I remember you used to have drawers, if I remember.
Oh yeah, we had single strings, and of course a good selection of regular strings. And like I said, that was something back then you didn't discount at all. And now supposedly the list price is $14.95, and we sell them for $3.99. So there's a huge markup on strings, but that was a profit center back then.
Well, and also like getting original Fender parts. I remember I had to get I think a pick guard or something, and it was pretty salty back then for those too. But they were packaged in like a plastic Fender package.
Oh yeah, it's just like with anything. You pay for the packaging and the name and that when you, it's like those cords I have when I buy them in bulk with no name on them. That saves you 50% right off the top.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. You got such great deals, and then people have to go to your Facebook page, right? And that's where you usually put all the deals.
Oh yeah, I put on the deals, different things we have, and different bulk purchases. And this day and age, you got to find a niche and think outside the box. And you used to get different ideas, and and I'm always asking wholesalers, distributors, and thinking outside, just like all the stuff I got from the old Woodwind brass one. I just, hey, can I come up there and take a look around, and made friends with them, and bought all their returns, and got some really great deals.
We're talking too. What I didn't know about is Mac used to deal in used gear too.
Oh, yeah. I'd say, we're about 50-50. We always had an excellent selection of used. And obviously, used is, much more profit in used, and I would say we were probably about 50-50 back then, and today I'm probably about 90-10 and 90% in used, because it's a much better profit margin.
And I was asking you too, Red's Pawn Shop, and what would happen if people brought in something that maybe wasn't theirs?
Well, it was a different era. You didn't even have to get ID or, and of course, you could tell the shady guys when they came in. But Mac really didn't buy a whole lot off the street, unless it was like a real high-end Gibson that somebody knew that he was a buyer of those products. Just a, average Strat or something like that. You really didn't advertise to buy. And we did for a little while when we opened the 100 Center store. I don't know if it was mine or Jeff's idea to advertise to buy for guitars, and there did a few things come in that didn't belong to the people that sold them to us. And matter of fact, my good friend Gordy Smith, we got his drum set in there, and his younger brother, who's passed away, had sold it to us, and it didn't belong to him, so we had to give it back to Gordy.
Oh wow, boy! I bet that was a trip on that. Other thing too, advertising. We're talking about. Back in the day, the South Bend Tribune was the place to go for advertising.
Oh yeah, that was about it. There was no social media, obviously, and TV was just too expensive. Because TV was the medium at the time, and obviously they were the most expensive. But usually we just put a little ad in the classifieds, and that was pretty much it for Mac.
And I guess he never did any flyers or anything. Did he ever have any musicians play there? Like he'd bring in. Like Billy Nix would do a drum session or anything? I don't remember any of that.
No, we really didn't have the space. If you think of all three stores, the original Mishawaka store there was just tiny. The Elkhart store was large, but it was mainly teaching studios and no open spaces. And the South Bend store, until he bought the building and had the spot next door, there wouldn't have been room there either.
Where did Mac hang out at? Having three stores. Would he rotate, go to different stores each day, or was there one store he was at?
Oh no, he was always in the South Bend store. He would make his daily stops at the other stores, but that's where the action was. We probably outsold the Elkhart and Mishawaka stores 2-1 because that was a big city, and that's where you come to get your gear. We had the biggest selection, the nicer guitars, and that's the bulk of the business was the South Bend store.
Would he ever have meetings with you guys?
Occasionally. It usually involves some drinking, but we had some get-togethers and parties, but not so much like staff meetings or anything like that.
Well, would he when you walk in the morning? Would he have a list like you had to do, clean guitars or?
No, we pretty much knew what we had to do. Like I say, it was pretty loose, and like I said, it was mainly. Dave Johnson would go around to store and clean the guitars and tune them. And usually, if we got a little behind or something like that, I'd always make sure they were tuned and clean. But it was usually laid back. If things got a little slow, we'd play little cards and just have a good time. Maybe play a guitar or two.
Well, and I like too. We were talking about you always had to stand when a customer came in.
Oh yeah, it was like the old days. Like I was telling you earlier, like on the British sitcom "Are You Being Served?" You stood at attention when the customer came in, and waited on them. And most of the time, it was old school. And we did have stools that we'd sit on occasionally when we played cards and stuff like that. But oh yeah, it was old school. You stood there when the customer came in, and you waited on them.
Would you get a commission or anything? Like you said, you sold a guitar or.
No, there was a time though we had the perks thing. A lot of the guitars that been sitting a while. He said, "Well, if you sell this one, an extra $10." But it's mainly just salary.
Oh, great. Okay, well, we got about 30 seconds left. I got a little Billy Preston coming up. Again, Billy would always like me to say the Phoenix this evening. We got Open Jam Friday. We got Groupies Wanted, and Saturday Hipposonics. 5-Star Dive Bar Open Jam tonight. SWC Friday. And Paul Erdman and Steve Morse, I think, or Montz. And, of course, Rocks has Mike Boo on Saturday night. So, again, no radio classics tonight, no funk and groove, and no Beatles brunch. So it'll be a music weekend. So here's a little Billy Preston, and we'll get back to you. All right, we're back on Iconic Radio. Always want to give a big thank you to Brenda, the partner down at Iconic Cafe. Makes some great specials. And also we started doing where we closed the place down. We had the Osceola Lions Club in, and they did their meeting there. So we closed it down for 2 hours. Brenda cooked up some homemade Swiss steak and meatloaf, and it was perfect. So if there's any groups or organizations that would love an opportunity to come back to some nostalgia and some Dog and Suds root beer, like us on Facebook, and let us know, and we can work something out. So we're about the end of phase with Jimi Lovitt here for Memories of McNease, but we'll be back again December 4th. And Jimmy told me that'll be, 2 days before you open up?
Yeah, just 2 days, hopefully, for the grand opening. I hope everything goes smooth and we get in there. Like I say, we're going to have to hit it and get it when we get in there first. So hopefully the 6th will be our grand opening.
Yeah, and I think this is a dream come true for you, this musicians co-op. I just proud of you for it. I mean, it's the only one around in the area, isn't it?
I think it's, there's the only other musicians co-op I know of are just like space sharing for reversal space. I think we're only the true co-op in the sense of like a farmer's market or something where people come together to sell goods and group of the same nature. But I tell you, it's something I want to do before, I got a few remaining years or whatever I got left here to pass on and, pass on what I've learned to other people that want to learn the music business.
And again, you said earlier in the show, how would people get a hold of you if they want to get involved in this?
Oh, easy. Just, on Facebook, obviously, on the Musicians Co-op or Jimmy's Discount Deals or Jimi Lovitt, one of the two. And, of course, you can always give me a call, 850-5223.
And I think it's great. We were talking previous shows, too, about you could have an album collection in there, turntables. I mean, it doesn't really end, and you got a lot of space at this building, correct?
Oh, yeah. It's not huge, but it's a lot of space. And I say we're really going to have with the people we got in there, it's a wonderful vinyl collection, and we get into some turntables and some, you maybe close your eyes and think you're back at Just for the Record.
Well, you need the plastic if you're going to do that. Do you got any old Just for the Record albums, the sleeves and everything?
Thousands of them. That collection I bought from a friend of mine, matter of fact, I posted a picture of that. I said, how many of these babies are out there floating around?
Whose idea was that with the sleeves? I mean, it was a great idea.
Oh, yeah, great promotional. Whoever did that, it's to this day, it's still out there. They may not be around, but their sleeves are still advertising.
Yeah, and where was that? That was in the Raskeller building at the 100 Center?
Yeah, at the 100 Center, right down there on the far end there. It was really cool. That was a huge place, and, right across there was Aardvark Audio. And
that's right.
You want to get your high-end audio stuff, and we were there for a little while, McNease and stuff there, and that was a cool place. The 100 Center was a great concept. I'd like to see that come back again. That's a cool old building.
Well, I remember the Robertson sisters used to work there, and Peggy Probst was someone else who used to work at Just for the Record and stuff. Do you ever see the Robertson sisters anymore?
No. I see them on Facebook. I think Lana's down in Florida living, and I think Fawn still lives around here. I think she got into nursing. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that was really cool. As a matter of fact, where we're at the 100 Center, I think Lisa Germano's first husband's boyfriend worked at Just for the Record. Her first husband's brother, not his boyfriend. That wouldn't be quite right. But anyway, yeah, that's because I remember I saw Lisa Martin down there at the 100 Center, and that was a really cool place to hang out.
Yeah, it sure was. And how many guitars did the Robertson sisters sell?
I think he just quite a few just with their personality alone. But let me just say, personality. Yeah, that was it.
Well, that's all we can say on the radio.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
Well, yes, we got the musicians. The swap meet. When's the next swap meet coming up?
Let's see. That'd be March, probably March. I haven't set a date. We always check with the VFW. Sometimes they get some weddings or events, and we usually plan it around that and work with them because that's great people and a great place to have it at.
Oh, it was great food too. They had the pulled pork sandwich, which was fantastic.
Oh yeah, my friend Tom Weber there has his double T barbecue right there in the VFW.
That was great. And, they can get a hold of you, too, for the swap meet. Is there going to be any more booths opened up? I was pretty filled up.
Yeah, this year, though, I think I undersold it a little bit because we were so jammed last time. Had a couple no-shows. One had a good friend of mine, Leo Lopez, as a diabetic, and he had a good excuse. The other three really didn't. So we might just... not hold booths this year like we usually do, so we're going to have her full.
Well, and again, December 4th, we'll be back with Memories of McNease
It was a really good show tonight with it. And as I said, we're trying to get other guests to come on that worked with McNease. And, of course, Jimmy, the timeline, there's a period before you, when you were there, and a period after. So, and that's what we're trying to work on, if different people work different periods with Mac.
Oh yeah, we do. We need really nice to find some of the people from the earlier era, and because there's a lot of them are still around from the later days. But be nice get Junior in here, talk about something, because he goes way back, going in the store as a customer, and of course he was good friends with Elmer Hobart, our repairman.
Is Elmer still alive too?
No, Elmer passed away a few years ago. He had quite a collection of instruments and tubes and a really nice guy, a super steel guitar player, and just a fantastic person.
Hey, what did Mac drive? I thought he had a black, like Lincoln Continental.
Oh yeah, he had the Lincoln, and then Margaret always had the Cadillac.
Oh, okay. Now where did he park at? He didn't park out front. Did he park in the back?
No, parked in the back there. At the time when I was there, he didn't own the building, but he had rented a spot in the back there at. Oh gosh, who did own that? I don't know from the big store next door owned it, or
yeah, but it was a magazine place, right?
No, they just rented too. That wasn't really their lot. Trying to think who actually owned the lot. I think it had to pay for parking there. Might even been just people just owned the lot, and it was a pay for lot. I can't remember that.
Too, I remember I used to rent an art studio up above from Mac, and he used to come up once in a while, to check out the studios. But I definitely want to bring some of the artists in that used to rent there, because we used to do shows right behind his building. There was that little building on the side where we used to have art shows back there, and I can't remember what it is now and stuff, but it was always cool with Mac too. He loved the arts. He just loved things going on with people, and that was a big tribute to him and stuff. So we'll have that too. So again, about ready to wrap up the show. Again, next week we'll have Bob Singleton Jr. back. And, of course, he did a great show about word-of-mouth marketing. He's got some other great ideas for us. And on the 20th, I think we, through Adam Nilsson, we have a comedian coming in, but I don't want to give his name yet because that hasn't been finalized. And then Jeff Jones will be on Thanksgiving night with token amps and guitars. And I was nice enough to meet Jeff at the swap meet. And a really neat guy, and looking forward to that. So with our last minute, I'll go over again the Phoenix tonight, Open Jam. Friday will be Groupies Wanted. Saturday will be Hipposonics, 5-star dive bar. Again, a great show with Jason Curtis. They have Open Jam, SWC, Paul Erdman, and Steve Montz. And, of course, Rocks will have Mike Boo. So that's what's going on for XERS Radio. So, again, always appreciate it. Jimmy, a great show again, and thank you very much. And looking forward when you open up the Musicians Co-op. And, of course, where's your store at, Jimmy's Discount?
1726 West Franklin. And, of course, next month we'll be part of the Musicians Co-op right down the road.
And what's the hours going to be there?
I haven't really decided yet. We'll probably be opening a little later in the day and staying open a little later, more catering to musicians.
Oh, okay. And people, like you said, people can bring their guitars in there, play, and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. We're looking for consignments and as many people as we can get in there.
All right. Iconic Radio. We're off the air. Thank you. We'll see you next week.